Hello, beautiful people. I hope all is well. I am taking my lunch early today so that I can hop on and do my weekly live Q&A with all of you. And so I hope that all is well in your life, with your family, and with your loved ones. Welcome, Jameson. Thank you for joining. Keeping It a Trillion. Thank you for joining. Nancy D. Good morning. Carla. Morning. Shot by Mr. 127. Good morning. Welcome, Paris. I'm sure you have work to do, but thank you for joining and spending a little bit of time with us. Mishi Wood. I hope I got that right. Welcome and good morning. I am Britannia. I hope I got that right. Good morning. Welcome and thank you for joining on the weekly live Q&A. If you are new to my page, please introduce yourself. Let us know what your name is and where you're from so that we can welcome you into the land of love. Shout out to my good friend, Oh Hey Paris, who just bought a badge. Thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. If you guys may be new to this monetization that Instagram is doing, they're offering influencers the opportunity to ask their audience to support them by purchasing a badge. So you can do so to help me make more content. Welcome Nisha from New York, Deja from California, Mel's, thank you for joining on this beautiful morning. So as I said, I'm taking my lunch early. I'm just here to do my weekly live Q&A. The way that the weekly live Q&A works is that on Tuesday, the day before today, I put in my stories the opportunity for folks to ask questions anonymously. You insert your dating and relationship questions in the box. I come on, I answer those questions anonymously. If there is time on the live stream, I will also try to answer questions that are at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You just put it in the little question bubble in the queue, and I will answer those questions as well. Those questions will not be anonymous. In order for me to view them, I have to share them on the screen, so I just want to put that warning out there. And I will try my best to answer those questions. But for sure, if you were to put your question in my stories the day before, I will for sure answer those questions. Also, this is not a one-way show, so I would really appreciate if, as I'm reading the questions, I know there's usually like a 10 to 15 second delay, but as I'm reading the questions, if you have a response, if you have a thought, if you have something that you want to share about what you think the person should do, if you were in their particular case, then please go ahead and share that as well. I would be more than happy to read it so we could get some more insight and some more clarity to help this person in their particular circumstances. So there were three questions. There were three questions that were, or two questions in the statement that were submitted in the last 24 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the live Q&A. And again, if you do have a question that you would like to raise, go ahead and drop it right there. It should be right there on your screen, which is the question queue. And again, Instagram has introduced this new monetization, which is called badges. So if you would like to support me in my page in developing more content, go ahead and purchase a badge. All right, so let's jump right in. So the first statement that I received was, I cannot thank you enough for sharing dating advice. I have grown so much since my last breakup. So Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Someone just dropped me a message just to say thank you for sharing dating advice, and she's grown so much since the last breakup. And I'm glad that I could be of service to any and all of you. Let's move on. The next one, this is a good one. The question is, learning to say no to a booty call to a separated spouse. Learning to say no to be a booty call to a separated spouse. What's so interesting about this question is that I actually just answered it yesterday when I did an alignment call with a client. So it was a client who reached out to me. She clicked the link in my bio and she booked an alignment call. So what I do with those, it's not someone who necessarily needs ongoing coaching. It's not someone who's necessarily single and is looking for me to guide them and assist them in finding the partner that they deserve. They have a one-off. They have an issue. They have a question. They have a concern. They're looking for guidance in any part of their romantic or platonic relationships, and they're looking for guidance, just a single session, right? And so this person said the same thing. They said that they are going through a divorce with their second husband. Their first husband has reached out. He is newly engaged and he wants to re-engage with his first wife, right? And she said the same thing that I'm about to say, and I hope it's the same thing that you guys are thinking. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Me, and I'm sure you feel the same way, are not playing second seat, especially when we already played first seat. If I was already your wife, if I was already your spouse, then I'm going to go from spouse to side chick. Like, first of all, there should be no up or down. I'm also not going to go from a side chick. I would never be a side chick, at least knowingly, from side chick to wife. But I am definitely not going from wife to side chick, or the way that they phrased it here, booty call or what have you. Absolutely not. There is a status related to being a spouse. I'm not saying that those who are married are better than those who are single. Not saying that. What I'm saying is there is a status related to being married. So why would I go from the status of the most deep connection legally and religiously, if you're religious, or biblically possible? Why would I go from the highest connection to possibly the lowest connection and being somebody's side chick or being somebody's booty call? Absolutely not. So the question is, how do you say no? I'm going to show you. No. I'm going to show you. No. I'm going to show you. No. We have no interest whatsoever in re-engaging with a separated spouse sexually if we cannot re-engage with a separated spouse emotionally. However, if you want to get back with your spouse, right? If you want to get back with an ex, then I support that if and only if, one, we both can identify where we went wrong in that relationship, and two, we're both actively working on improving that circumstance moving forward. I am not against getting back with an ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, ex-spouse, ex-whoever. I'm not against that. I actually support it if and only if we both agree what the problem was or what the problems were, and two, we're both actively working on it. So let's see. Paris says, I know I saw it, absolutely the F never. Absolutely not, right? No is a complete sentence that warrants no further explanation. That's exactly right, Joe. Like, absolutely not. Jameson says, problem is he clearly has little respect for his ex-wife. I would lightly agree with that. I don't know the exact circumstances, but I would imagine that you are absolutely not calling me back to your bedroom after we've separated. However, we're not working out whatever is going on romantically. Now, if we've both decided that this is not working romantically, then guess what? It's also not working sexually. Okay? You can take care of yourself if you need to in the bedroom, or you need to start dating. You need to move on. But what you're not going to do is belittle me and think that I'm going to engage sexually with someone who has made it clear that they're no longer interested in me romantically. Spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't care what it is. You're not getting access to the cookies if I can't have access to your heart and your mind. It don't work like that. The way you say no is by saying no. We have some folks who are just joining. Welcome, Latasha. Oh, gosh, I'm going to mess this up. I'm going to say DA because I don't want to mess you up. Welcome, Big Reg. Welcome, everyone who is joining. It's J Thing. I think I got that right. And my beautiful, beautiful favorite person on Instagram, Chocolate Love 317. Welcome and thank you for joining. So we're doing our weekly live Q&A where folks submit their anonymous questions through my stories the day before on the Tuesday. I read the questions anonymously. I give what my response would be as a licensed and certified counselor and dating and relationship coach, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. Again, for those who are just joining, Instagram has decided to compete, as they always do, Facebook through Instagram, has decided to compete with a lot of the other platforms like YouTube, and so they have turned on monetization, how to monetize your platform, and one of those things is called badges. So if there's anyone out there who has enjoyed my content in the past, or you're enjoying this live stream now, and you would like to to contribute to allow me to make more content, please go ahead and click on at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, it should be the opportunity for you to buy a badge. And special shout out to Oh Hey Paris, who already purchased a badge to support, okay? Moving along. Next question. And this one is a good one. This is one that I usually get every week. How to spot a narcissist. The person asked, how do you spot a narcissist? All right. So, as I said, I get this question extremely frequently, as well as I did a live stream 2 days ago with a clinical therapist specifically about trauma and narcissism, because it's a term that we use a lot. Folks kind of like throw it around willy-nilly, and I am not a clinician. So let me go through what my credentials are. I have a bachelor's degree in education. I have a master's degree in counseling. I have a master's degree extension in mental health counseling. I have 10 years experience as a counselor, and I am a certified dating and relationship coach. I am not a clinician, and most of us on this earth are not clinicians. So we are not in a position to identify or say that someone is a narcissist. What we can say is that they show narcissistic behaviors, or we have identified narcissistic behaviors. Oh, special shout out to Miss Lily. Thank you for purchasing a badge. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, anyone who's interested to support so that I can create more content, go ahead and purchase that badge. All right. So again, I'm not a clinician. Most of us are not clinicians. So just like I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to say that you're having a heart attack. I'm going to say that you have chest pain. I'm going to say that you have pain in your left arm, which is what I learned on Google. Perhaps this may be signs. I'm not a clinician, so I cannot say that anyone, and neither can most of you, that someone is a narcissist. We can say that they're showing narcissistic behaviors. So I'm going to reword that question and say, how can you tell if someone is showing narcissistic behaviors? Or what are narcissistic behaviors? So narcissistic behaviors start and show in a multitude of ways. One of them is going to be what's called love bombing. Love bombing. And I don't know if you've ever heard this phrase before, but love bombing is when someone shows you an outrageous amount of love, affection, attention too quickly. Too quickly. So we're not talking about someone who you've been dating for 6 months or a year. We're not talking about a committed partner. We're not talking about a wife. We're not talking about a husband who buys flowers and rubs your feet and draws your bath and texts you multiple times a day that I love you and says, baby, what do you want to eat for dinner, and makes dinner and cooks and cleans. That person just loves you and you're lucky, right? We're talking about love bombing. So all the things that I just listed, and I've known you for 2 weeks. And I've known you for a month. We've been on 3 dates, and you text me nonstop. You send me flowers all day long. You tell me how amazing I am. You tell me that you love me, and I've been on 3 dates with you. That's the signs that something is problematic, right? That's the signs of a narcissist. And the reason, or someone who's exhibiting narcissistic behavior. And the reason why that's important to outline is because lots of people love affection, and they love attention, and they love to be wooed, right? And so when they're getting that level of affection and attention, they think, oh, this person is just amazing, and I'm just so lucky to have found someone who is fulfilling my love languages. You need to be mindful that you don't know him or her. And so the fact that they're coming on outrageously strong is something that you need to question. Now, that alone doesn't mean that the person is showing narcissistic behaviors or are a narcissist. So let's talk about some of the other things, right? Something else. They don't have close friendships or relationships in general. They don't have a relationship with their parents. They don't have a relationship with their siblings. They don't have relationships with cousins. They don't really have close relationships with friends. They're not close to anybody. That's going to be a telltale sign that something is wrong, that they are unable to build solid relationships with other people. Something's wrong. You're dating somebody who's 35 years old, and she says, oh, I don't have any girlfriends because girls are grimy and they always stab me in the back. Really? You have 7, 8 people in the course of your life that stabbed you in the back? So I think that we need to do an analysis of either one, you're choosing all the wrong people, and why are you doing that? Or 2, perhaps you're the common denominator and you're the one who's doing the stabbing, and you're manipulating the situation into it being, oh no, I don't have any female friends because girls are terrible. Your mother never did you nothing. Your daddy never did you nothing, and you don't talk to them. They weren't abusive. They didn't mistreat you and you don't speak to your parents, your siblings. You don't talk to them. You ask why. Oh, because they be hating. Really? All of them? Hating on you? What you got? What do you have that everyone's jealous of you? Right? So we need to be mindful of this. I don't have close relationships with anyone, because people who show narcissistic behaviors tend to be unable emotionally, psychologically, to connect with people on a level deep enough to sustain relationships. You ain't got no friends, you ain't got no family, you ain't got nobody. That's weird, right? And again, that's going to kick it up a notch, right? Then we move on in regards to narcissistic behaviors with gaslighting. So that's a term that's also become extremely popular recently. It comes from a book, I think from like 1944, called Gaslight. And in the story, I vaguely remember, in the story, there was a husband who was trying to drive his wife crazy by lowering the gas light. Like, like this is the 40s, so it's like electricity is not as common, right? So she's lowering the gas light just a little bit every night, just to cause her to just like feel like she's losing it, right? Kind of like white noise. So that's where the term comes from. So when people try to, or this person is trying to manipulate situations to make it seem like you are the one who's crazy, and then you start actually questioning your own sanity, not like saying, yo, bro, this shit keeps saying, am I wilding? Like you're really questioning your own sanity. That's gaslighting. If they constantly gaslight you and you know that you're not bugging, then they're showing signs of narcissistic behavior. There's a whole litany of characteristics and behaviors. However, really briefly, the love bombing, again, exclusively on its own, it may not be a terrible thing. I think you should still be mindful of someone who's just like overly in love with you extremely quickly, but that alone is not terribly, right? The love bombing, the gaslighting, and the poor relationships with everybody is going to be a sign that something here is problematic. Okay, so those are the 3 statements / questions I received. Again, if you want your questions to be answered anonymously, you have to drop the questions in my stories the day before, the Tuesday, so that I can read those and then answer them on the Wednesday. If you drop your questions here, right here in the bubble, I will gladly answer once I have time, and I do have some time today. However, I have to share them on my screen, which means other people will see. If that's a big deal to you, make sure you share it in my stories in advance. If it's not a big deal, obviously go ahead and drop it. Welcome, Craig. Thank you, Robert, for joining and giving me some time of your morning today. We're doing our weekly live Q&A. So, someone asked a question. Do you suggest women seek counseling or therapy before moving on to another partner or start dating again? I just had this conversation with a friend recently. Do you suggest women seek counseling or therapy before moving on to another partner or start dating again? So I would say that it depends on the circumstances. So if this person, it could be man or woman, if this person feels as though they are unable to move on from the romantic relationship that they were in on their own, it's been months and they're still visibly upset, emotionally upset, and feel as though they have no desire to date others, then they should seek some kind of counseling or therapy. If it's the case where you are crying or you feel like literal feelings of depression, then yes, you should seek counseling or therapy. Do I believe that people who break up, once the breakup is over, you should go to therapy? Not necessarily. Even though I think that there is space for everyone to go to therapy, because we've all experienced things that could benefit from being sorted through with a professional. So anytime, anybody should go to therapy. But simply because of a breakup, I don't think that that's a necessity. Again, if it's been months and you still cannot see yourself functioning in a romantic way with anybody else, if you are showing signs of depression, then yes, seek therapy after a breakup. But is it an absolute given just because there's been a breakup? Absolutely not. And before going to therapy, if you want to self-soothe, go on YouTube, go on Instagram, hashtag. You can go on my page, click the link in my bio, scroll down to free resources, and I have an ebook called Move On Sis. Try some of those techniques. Feel free to go to therapy if you see fit. Feel free. I don't think it's a necessity to get over a breakup, but it could be a necessity for those in their life if they want to improve the way that they function in their life and in their romantic and platonic relationships. That's a good question. All right, answered that already. Okay, so someone asked, I typed more than a paragraph of my question and it didn't send. Sorry about that, Love Muffin. So that pretty much concludes. If there's anyone else who has any other questions, I do have a little bit of time. You can go ahead and drop them in the bubble that's at the bottom right hand corner. Thank you, Big Reg, for purchasing a badge. I really do appreciate your effort. I appreciate all of you just coming on, period. You ain't gotta buy a thing, but I appreciate all of y'all just coming on and supporting me and sharing. I saw a lot of people who shared, especially there's a reel I did a couple of days ago that went viral. I'm really excited about. So thank you for sharing my contact, my page, this live stream for anyone who you think could benefit. I appreciate your efforts. And if you decide to donate or contribute financially, I appreciate that as well. Keeping It 1 Trillion says, how can you communicate more feminine to a guy and bring your feminine side out? Any advice just on femininity? I think that's a great question. And actually, if I could take a second to just step back and talk about why I think that in this day and age, we find this idea of women, quote unquote, behaving in a more masculine way. Y'all might not like this. All right. In my opinion, I think that we have created a society where women have been forced to behave, quote unquote, in a more masculine way, right? If you are left to your devices, then you are going to step up in order to function in society. If there are gaps that are missing in your life, in your functionality, in the way that things happen, then any logical, intelligent human being is going to fill those gaps, right? If you leave a child alone at home, they are going to figure out how to eat if they're old enough, right? They're going to crawl up. They're going to go into the cabinets. They might eat some BS they're not supposed to, but they're going to fill the gaps of what's left by a parent. Now, I'm not saying that a woman is a child and a man is a parent, but I'm giving an example of when there are gaps, you fill those gaps. So if you have instances where you have more women who are single, if you have instances of more single moms, then by default, they are going to fill whatever perceived gaps there may be that a man who was in her life or in the children's life would have filled. So this ideology of women becoming so masculine and I think we need to have more conversations as to why that is. And instead of just throwing the blame on, oh, women have become so masculine and well, why is it like that? And it could be a cycle too, right? It could be also that because of the absenteeism of some men in society, which, by the way, I think that my generation is popping. I think my generation is changing those ideas. I think that dads, especially black dads, are stepping up more than ever. But I'm talking in generalities, right? So, damn, now I done lost my train of thought. Yeah, it could be a cycle. So it could be because of men and them being absent, women are forced to behave in a more masculine way. As a result of behaving in a more masculine way, then men tend to stay away more frequently. And so it could be a cycle. I'm not saying what came first, the chicken or the egg, but I think that there does need to be some kind of academic conversation, which is beyond my scope, but a more academic conversation around why there is this supposed masculinity or I don't even know how to use like the right suffix, but masculineness within women. If that's even the truth, I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and answer your question nonetheless. So how can you become more feminine, right? This is actually something that's very Googleable. Again, I'm throwing on my own suffixes. And there's like tons of videos on YouTube about being more feminine. I think a lot of how you present is how you will then behave, right? So if I wanted to present to you guys like a doctor, let's say I wanted to pretend that I was a doctor. I am not a doctor. I am not clinically trained. If I were to put on my white coat, if I were to buy a white coat from Amazon and a stethoscope, if I were to read books about being a doctor and I were to speak to you guys about medical stuff, right? You guys would be inclined to believe that I am a doctor because that's how I'm presenting. And as a result of me feeling good about wearing the white jacket and the stethoscope, and I'm coming online and my name is Dr. Alison instead, right? Because I'm presenting this way, I might be inclined to say, damn, I really did always want to be a doctor. It feels really good presenting this way. Perhaps I need to consider going back to medical school. That's an exaggerated example. But my point is, when you pretend or you put on to be more feminine, right? And if you like the way that it makes you feel, in turn, you will want to become more feminine. So if that means that for you, if femininity means for you, and I'm saying for you because femininity can mean anything for anybody. If it means styling your hair more, if it means wearing makeup, if it means getting your nails done and pedicures, if it means wearing high heel shoes, if it means wearing dresses, if it means wearing pearls, right? If it means speaking in a softer tone, if it means the way that you walk, then those are things that you can actively do, right? And you can actively practice. And as they say, practice makes perfect. So the more that you practice wearing makeup, the better it will come out. The more that you practice speaking in a softer tone, then the more you will do that. And so by default, by working on those things that you can actively do on you, on yourself, then you will become more of that. I hope that that makes sense. Special shout out to Brit Brat. Thank you for purchasing a badge. I appreciate the support. That's all right, girl. You know I'm going to say the live is going to be here and it's going to be on my YouTube channel. Thank you, Kim B. Thank you for purchasing a badge. I appreciate the support. So I hope that that answers your question and I hope that that makes a lot of sense. All right, guys, it seems as though there are no more questions. Y'all letting me get out of my early lunch break early. So I am going to go ahead and enjoy something to eat and get back to work. I appreciate all of you guys for joining. If you did enjoy this live stream or if you enjoy any of my content, please share my page. Help me get the word out. Go ahead and click that little paper arrow thingy. Share this live with anyone who you think would be interested. Share my page. Tag them in the comments. And I am confident that they will get some value out of what we have discussed today. And again, thank you for everyone who purchased a badge to help me make more content. I appreciate the support. And I will be saving this live for anyone who's just joining. Welcome. I'm saving the live. It's going to be up in about 2 minutes right on my page. Oh, last thing. I have 10 slots available. 10 slots available for my masterclass that's going to be hosted this Sunday, May 2nd at 12 noon Eastern. Go ahead and click the link in my bio, the first button for my masterclass. It's going to be a marathon. I'm very excited about it because I'm sharing everything. So go ahead and click the link in my bio, first button to join the masterclass. It is at over 50% off for now at $57. So click the link in my bio and or if you know that anyone who you think can benefit from a masterclass on how to snatch your spouse, go ahead and share that with them. If you've been talking to your friends about me and like this sis knows what she's talking about and she can help you, how about you purchase it for them? Do them a favor. Or just go ahead and share my page. Love you all. It's been a pleasure. I'm saving it so you can watch it later if you just joined. Have a wonderful day and adios, amigos.